Hello, I'm Jim, and welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast. This podcast is an exploration of a rich history, the stories and memories of those who made and make Rallying in America so great. Enjoy the show. This week on Rallying America, the Recce Podcast, my guest is Matt Gold from Drop a Gear Industries, the Gear Busters Podcast, and the Full Send Foundation. We discuss his work with American Veteran Racing Organization, his foundation's support for teams and volunteers, his Vivio car project, and much more. Well, Matt Gold, welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast. Appreciate you having you on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So you're my neighbor, and you live about 30 minutes here in kind of south central PA. Were you born and raised in this area?
No, I was from, well, I shouldn't say originally. I mean, technically, my parents grew up in Pennsylvania. My parents were from Perry County, which isn't far from here either. Right. But I was born in Massachusetts and moved around because my dad was in retail for a while. But now I'm right here in good old Denver, Pennsylvania.
Well, that's kind of weird because I was born in Massachusetts myself.
Was it West Springfield?
No, I was in Gardner.
Okay.
So yeah. I know where West Springfield is. Not too far from the Basketball Hall of Fame and all that, yeah.
Nice.
So, cool. Now, your family, were they car lovers or in motorsports or...
I mean, not particularly. My late grandfather was into sprint cars and NASCAR and stuff like that. He wasn't like an official mechanic, but he had a salvage yard at his property, and so he kind of tinkered with cars and helped friends and neighbors. And one of my relatives down the road, her husband, boyfriend, I can't quite remember the dynamic at the moment here, but he drove sprint car out of Port Royal. And he, so that I went to one or two of those races and got kind of hooked on sprint cars for a little bit there. But my grandfather was the biggest reason that I got into cars because of the salvage yard, things like that. But beyond that, I mean, I'm really the only one in the family that's kind of this deep into the car culture. I mean, I did go to school for it, and I, spent a couple years in the industry right out of high school, and then kind of transitioned from there.
Oh, okay, cool. And then, were there any particular types of cars that you really liked in high school there? And what was your first car that you actually spent your own money on?
So I really didn't have I don't know if I really had a choice in preferred car at the time. I mean, I wanted just about anything. I kind of got hooked on Hondas really early on. My first car was an 89 Honda 4-door. It wasn't anything spectacular.
Right.
But I'd already had the bug in me to, modify stuff. So it quickly became an obsession. I swapped out the engine on that.
Oh, wow.
And
did it need a new engine?
No.
You just did it for more power, or?
So the current the thing at the time with Hondas was getting a JDM engine. I then spent a lot of money and bought a JDM B16 out of a 1991 Honda Civic SIR. And so it's basically the B series engines had been around since the early 90s. Typical of everything coming out of Japan. It never came to the States for like almost 10 years. With technically the SI came over in 96, but so I ended up swapping this motor out for that. And so I basically had a stock looking Honda Civic with, 160 horsepower, SI motor in it. So at the time it was quite the car. And, you got to remember too, this was Fast and Furious days, early 2000s.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so, yeah, I might have been into some of that whole Mexican street racing stuff.
Oh, okay. You didn't go for the 2JZ, whatever it is?
No. I didn't have that kind of money. I mean, the Supras were really cool and I've always wanted one, but yeah, they were never something that I ever officially could purchase.
Oh, yeah. Because you know that scene in that movie, right?
Oh my gosh.
2JZ, no shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
24 Hours of Lemons always quotes that. It's kind of funny.
Nice. I actually did a quote with it one time with one of our early videos through the shop. We had just gotten a car. I opened the hood and my buddy had said those exact words. And so I spliced in a spot. I was like, I spliced in the spot where he's like, pop the hood. And then, 2JZ.
Right, yeah.
So that was always fun.
It's always good to quote movies anyways.
Absolutely.
And if you're anything like me, you're, your age, but you'll probably always be a 10-year-old maturity-wise, right?
Yeah, I think
Somewhat.
that comes. I feel like that comes with the territory sometimes with car guys.
True. Do you have any project cars now?
Oh, dear Lord. Sometimes I feel like I'm slowly trying to become Brian Scotto. I have a few. They're either not started, they're not finished, or some variation in between. So, I mean, currently, technically speaking, my current main project car is a 1996 Subaru Vivio that we got. It was a local purchase here from a dealership that I did work for. It's a car from Japan. It's a little K car for those that don't know, but it's it's all-wheel drive. It has a inline 4-cylinder, which is non-typical of Subaru, but
Oh, wow, yeah.
it's a K car. The other neat thing about this is the top tier trim level of the vehicle. So it came with a supercharger.
Well, wow.
Yeah. So you have a 658 cc, basically a motorcycle engine with an AMR 300 supercharger on it. And it's pushing 12 pounds of boost right out of the factory. And for all of that boost and all of that engine, it makes a whopping 65 horsepower. So that's the project. There's a couple others. I actually have a second one of these. That's a 97. It's red, has an upgraded supercharger pulley with 20 pounds of boost. I'm kind of keeping that one more stock to kind of just have something fun to drive around. And then we also have our 2004 WRX rally car that I'm building. I've had that car for well over almost, actually I've had that car for about 15 years now.
Okay. So what's the difference between the Vivio and the Justy?
So the biggest difference between the Vivio and the Justy is actually the engine. The Justy came with a 3-cylinder engine. Okay. I think it was a 1.3 liter. K cars in Japan are regulated to be under 660 cc's. So every K car that's out there is 660 cc's or less. Okay. The famous ones are obviously like the Honda Beat, the Suzuki Cappuccino, the AutoZam AZ1, things like that. So those are kind of the more well-known ones. Also, the Suzuki Alto Works is probably the most common car that everybody thinks I have because they look so similar.
Okay.
But yeah, that's really the biggest difference is the engine. The Justy actually has technically proper bumpers with crash parts. There's a little bit more bumper there. The Vivio is basically like flat when it comes to the bumper. There's not a lot there. And then other than that, there's a couple parts that cross over. I think there's, the drive shaft, the rear differential, some of the various bearings I've noticed over the years, they kind of have some crossovers in parts, and hopefully someday I'll convince Bucky Lassick to let me race his Justy with my Vivio.
There we go. Perfect. That'd be a lot of fun to watch.
It would be. He tells me it's because I'm on the East Coast and he's on the West Coast. Well, I'll come to you. I don't care.
Yeah, meet in the middle somewhere.
Right? Be a lot of fun.
So, what inspired you to start making content?
Ooh. I had to think about this one for a little bit because honestly, I'm not really 100% sure. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know early on as a kid, I think I wanted to be like an actor or something in that regard. Because technically I made my first video in like seventh grade.
Oh, cool.
I think it was a music project. We had to basically make a video or tell a story using a song. And I chose the song Mars, The Bringer of War by Gustav Holst.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, with my dad, my brother, and the help of my best friend in school, we actually created a war set on Mars using a VHS camera and some basic like army playset thing that I had as a kid.
Oh, that's cool.
And our carpet was almost like a sandy brownish color. So under the light of an incandescent bulb at close range, it looked like Mars. And I actually put that video recently up on our Patreon channel in my archive section and stuff like that. So some of our subscribers can watch that crazy video. But yeah, so that was where it started.
Yeah.
And then early 2000s, I was into skateboarding before I got my car. And even a little bit after I got my car.
Yeah.
So we kind of made some skateboarding videos, and that was always fun trying to run around with one of those old Sony handy cams.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to film stuff in the early days. But after that, I mean, it was just kind of getting into car content. And I had a YouTube channel that I'd started with the station wagon moniker. It's a wagon, 37 with my number that I used, and that channel is just a montage of these various creations that I've made.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. So then how did Drop a Gear get started?
So this one is, I don't want to say it's long-winded, but it kind of, there's a backstory to it a little bit. In 2021, I actually had ventured out on my own, created my own auto repair shop. It was called Gold's Auto Repair in the DIY shop. I had a very unique approach. I let people actually come in and use the space to, work on their own stuff. Yeah. And after I started it, I realized that I had that ability to give back to my community. I could make repairs affordable. I've always had a little bit of distaste for dishonest repair shops. And there's just way too many that still kind of really just beat that stereotype into society. And I wanted to kind of try and see if I could try and be different and change that. So I had this different idea. I was very competitive, things like that. And because of the size of the shop that I had a lot of room for my projects. It was kind of unintentional, but at the same time, it was intentional that I ended up with such a large building. It was 2 floors. I had almost 5,000 square feet on each floor.
Oh, wow.
So it was almost a 10,000 square foot building. It was 4 bays on the first floor, plus a showroom. It had been a repair shop before in the area, pretty much since it was built in the 50s.
Okay.
And because of my inspirations from Ken Block and Hoonigan, it was kind of another reason that I wanted that shop, because I wanted to have a space to create videos similar to like Daily Transmission. And at one point, actually, I was an authorized Hoonigan retailer, so I could actually sell their merchandise there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And, so because of that, I was like, wow, I could make content here. And so we decided that maybe we could start doing some of that stuff. And because I wanted to race, that content could be what, would eventually help, get me back into, racing and being way more active than admittedly I hadn't been. And so it kind of came from that, because eventually some friends and I were getting together and like, man, we need to come up with a name for this thing. And eventually we came up with the idea of Drop a Gear. And I decided to throw the industries on the end, because looking at it from a business perspective, in a sense, as Drop a Gear Industries, I can create multiple things through the blanket of Drop a Gear.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So I kind of took it from, it's also kind of like a little bit of an inspiration from Hoonigan as well, because at the end of their videos, they always called their stuff the Hoonigan Media Machine.
Oh, right.
And technically it was Hoonigan Industries.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so it kind of became that. And then we launched a Patreon, and that's kind of where it started from there.
We'll be right back. Power up your ride. Daily driver, bike, or track beast with Melee Design Firm. Since 2018, Melee has been the go-to source for high-performance battery mounts and power solutions trusted by enthusiasts and professionals alike. Whether you're carving corners on the weekend, commuting to work, or chasing podiums, they have the gear to keep you powered and ready. Their lightweight universal battery mounts are engineered for performance, crafted with precision, and designed to handle whatever you throw their way. They don't just make and sell parts. They build confidence under the hood. Rugged, industrial, functional. That's the Melee difference. Join thousands of satisfied drivers who refuse to settle for stock. Upgrade your battery game today. Now back to the show. So how and when did you start doing podcasts?
So podcasts are actually a Patreon suggestion. One of the free members on Patreon had said, I had kind of posted up on there, and I think also on Facebook. I was like, hey guys, what is some other content that you would like to see come out of Drop a Gear? Because I love being able to get the input of what my followers enjoy. I love being able to then turn around and hopefully make the content that they actually want to see instead of just some content that I think they might enjoy.
Right.
I mean, I make that, but I also like to make the stuff that they want. And so I kind of figured I would do that. So honestly, we're only up to episode 14 in total.
Okay.
I do it in the off season because, with rally being over for the year and at this time of the year, most motorsports are kind of just wrapping up.
Yeah.
The car scene kind of condenses for the winter. Everybody starts going into their projects, things like that, which, I mean, I'm doing the same thing. We're going to start really just hammering down on some of the projects that we're working on. So hopefully come spring, we have some cool stuff to show everybody. Season 1 was 12 episodes, and it was kind of a mix of things because I never really thought I would do podcasts.
Yeah.
And I had been listening to your podcast since it started. And I thought, wow, this is really cool. And I wanted to do a motorsports theme, so I figured, why not? And so again, a friend of mine and I brainstormed, and we came up with the name. I came up with the name Gearbusters, and then I had my friend design the logo.
Cool.
So yeah, it's been a fun thing. I still have 5 more episodes already kind of set up for this year so far, because season 2's kind of just started. Episode 3 airs on the 19th of November, and that's actually going to have Best Rally Team as my guest. So should be a lot of fun. And we've got a lot of other podcasts coming up with some other exciting guests, like yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Finally glad that you could come on because I've been wanting to have you on. So,
no, absolutely.
Your model seems a little bit more manageable, with the schedule and everything, than what I'm trying to do. Trying to do once a week is a little tough. And I was going to try to double up this week, but, some wires got crossed and scheduling and people working. Everyone's busy. So I don't sweat so much that, I'm not to the T as my schedule goes,
Yeah, I only do it because over the years, being a content creator, they kind of harp it into your brain. You got to be consistent. You got to do this and things like that. And I'm trying to be as consistent as possible, but also it helps me schedule things and get it done because I'm kind of a procrastinator sometimes. And I mean, I'm actually, the episode airs next week and I'm still kind of like halfway done with edit. So sometimes I kind of back myself into a corner and it's not so great, but I still try to do my best to get them out. And that's why I kind of do it every other week because of all the other things I've got going on in my life.
Yeah, that's probably wise too. But hopefully next year I'll get more consistent. But
Yeah, but I mean, at the same token, too, right? Even if there's a lack in output of content, right?
Yeah.
That also means that you're working on stuff, and that
Yeah.
you have stuff coming, and then you can kind of tease people with stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily sweat it as much as I used to. I've had to learn that the hard way,
Yeah.
um, so as not to stress myself out too much,
Right.
because it is just me anyway. So
Yeah. It's managing expectations with others, but managing expectations with yourself too.
it's
Got
probably
to
the biggest
realize,
challenge.
like, yeah, it's probably I bit off a little more than I can chew, but
Sometimes, sometimes.
yeah. So, when did you start attending rallies?
So let's see. When did I start attending rallies? I mean, realistically, unfortunately, more than I'd like to admit,
Hmm.
2025 has probably been my biggest year for attending stage rally
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
Um, I hit 5 this year. 4 is actual ARA media vested. Um, and then 2024, I got to one of them kind of on accident, but
Hmm.
it worked out. I was already in Tennessee for some military stuff, and I just
Okay.
happened to be there over the time that Overmountain was there. So, I mean, there's a lot of backstory behind why it's taken me so long to actually get stage side. I had to unfortunately kind of spend a lot of time being the guy that watched it from the sidelines,
Yeah. Right.
and did as much as I could, you know, as often as I could. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's a whole different story altogether.
Yeah. So, any rallies this year that stood out that you attended?
um, I mean, every rally is different. Being my first year really getting stage side, Southern Ohio was a real blast because I was actually covering content for American Veteran Racing Organization as
Hmm.
well as OK Rally. And I even got to have a taste of what Blue Vest locations could look like,
Yeah.
thanks to John Fletcher from Fletcher Media Pro. And that was really fun. But I mean, it's kind of tough because they all had something different that stood out. I mean, Southern Ohio for that, especially. Boone
Hmm.
Forest was actually really cool for me, despite getting peppered by rocks
Oh,
from
right.
Connor Martell at Turkey Foot, which funny side story about that, which um, I actually have a rock signed by Connor. He signed it on the one side and wrote 21. I actually had one that was like the size of my pinky finger that he hit me with at Turkey Foot,
Yeah.
and it landed in my vest pocket. And I got back, and I was like, "Oh, that's from Connor." And he signed it. He put a little C on it and a 21 on it and all that stuff. And then I stuck it back in my vest pocket. We were out on a stage, and I tripped over a root getting into position.
Oh no.
And later I was like, "Oh, where'd my rock go?" But luckily he tossed another one at me on that
Oh,
stage,
there you
so
go.
I had him sign that one. um, but other than that, I mean, STPR was really great for me because of the fact that I actually got to the jump with enough time. Went
Hmm.
over with some of the other media guys there, which I'm sure he's listening. I'm sorry, I totally forgot his name right now. It's just slipped my mind.
Hmm.
Um, but I mounted my 360 camera at the top of the jump, and it was probably my favorite shot to do because
Oh,
literally
very
these
cool.
cars are flying past
Yeah.
this. It ended up thermaling out, but at least I got the probably the first half of
Yeah.
the jump that day, and so that was definitely one of my favorite aspects. LSPR was really good as well, just because that was my first media as a blue vest, so I really
Hmm.
focused on getting to places that I knew wouldn't have a lot of camera content. And so, other than the big jump on Al's playground. So,
Okay. So you're there basically to do video and media packages.
correct.
Can you explain what a media package is to maybe those who are not familiar with it?
So, I mean, in most cases, so there's a website called Apixel that is kind of helping through the ARA. I don't know if it's officially through the ARA
Hmm.
or whatnot, but basically that's for the media guys who are on the ARA's websites to do media packages and sell to the teams. And
Okay.
it's not a I like the layout. I like the idea. I guess I'm just too new. Not many people are seeking me out for that, but I also don't really know how to price the stuff. A lot of the media that you see is for photos. There is probably far more photographers at some of these than I think there is video. The photographers take awesome shots. I am horrible at taking stills.
Gotcha.
I actually have John Fry, who comes out from Arizona, helping me sometimes to come out and take photos. He did stuff at Southern Ohio, and I'm really hoping to have him, come out a couple times in 26 to do some stuff with us as well. But it's just a way for us media who come out to these events to help offset our own costs to get there.
Yeah.
I know for me, just me personally, I mean, it's costing anywhere between $600 to $800 to get there.
Right.
So if I sell a media package, I might sell a media package to one team. I think the highest I charge right now is $250 for some reels. I'll shoot everything, I'll collect everything, and I'll put some reels together for the team, whether or not they want music to it, whether they want their logo on it. And it's just stuff that they can then use and sell themselves through social media and stuff like that.
Right.
And I don't know, it's a lot of fun. But I don't really advertise it. I've actually had more success with teams reaching out to me after the fact and going, "Hey, do you have any footage of this car?" And
right.
I actually we'll chat, and sometimes they buy all of the media that I shot for them, and I just sell it to them for, what I think is a fair flat rate. And nobody's really complained. I've had 2 teams come back to me multiple times now, and so it's just a nice way to help the drivers also be able to see how it looks for them from the spectator point of view.
Yeah, right. Very cool. Yeah, I often see those requests on Facebook on the North American rally group page. Do you have photos of this car, that car, or whatever? So yeah, it's kind of nice. Yeah,
it is. I think it's really good because for me, because I am trying to get into stage rally and actually race it rather than just do rallycross and things like that. For me, I will absolutely love to have somebody be like, "Hey, I shot all this stuff of you," or "I got this really cool photo of you." And I would love to, do the same thing and have somebody, get cool shots of me doing it too.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's kind of neat seeing everyone out there during a rally. And back to SCPR, Sue Ann would probably be upset if we didn't mention her on this episode.
A little bit.
So this past year is the first time you met Sue Ann.
Yes.
Yeah, I met her as well through the podcast, and she's like the hardest working woman in rally, I think.
You're not far off on that one for sure.
Oh yeah, she does an amazing job with SDPR. So
absolutely, I think this year was actually really good, even from just talking with other people. Because to me, obviously, it was really good. This was my first time truly getting there, because I actually, the first time that I ever really knew about STPR being a thing, I was actually in the area vacationing with my parents, and we were visiting the PA Grand Canyon. And all of a sudden there were rally cars going the other direction on the one road. And we were like, "What is that?" And then we found out that there was this rally, and I was like, "I'm coming to this one day." And it unfortunately never happened. And I still really kicked myself for it, because I had planned to really go in 2022. I'd finally planned everything out. I had all the money set up. I was ready to go. 21 didn't work out because of the shop being brand new, but 22, I was like, I'm going. Yeah. And I had drill that weekend, and I couldn't get out of it in time, and still kind of kicking myself, a little salty about it maybe, because it was literally my last chance to have gotten a chance to shake Ken Block's hand and meet this guy in person, who had been the reason that I'm pushing so hard to do all this.
Right. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
But I loved SCPR this year. I think the stages were, from what I could see at my vest level at the time, the stages to me were really neat. And honestly, I'm really excited to one day be able to race them in one of these cars.
Yeah. Now, did you meet Akash as well while you're SDPR? Did you get to talk to him at all?
I talked to him, I think briefly. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything of real consequence.
Yeah.
I think we actually on the way out of STPR, we actually caught up to him on the highway and stuff like that and whatnot, because he saw that, I think he saw the vehicle was at the event or whatnot, and so we were talking about it. I remember handing, I think it was his dad that was driving or was with him. I handed his dad the card, and I think I'm pretty sure he's following the channel.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because of Akash's dad. We were in ASAF, and we sat next to his dad, and his dad is like an encyclopedia, such a wealth of knowledge. Nice. Everyone that was around him was asking him questions and everything, so it was really neat. And I encourage anyone who goes as a spectator to just ask as many questions as you can. I don't think anyone really doesn't like talking about rally at those events.
Absolutely. I'm media, and I love it when I'm talking to random people, because I'll be filming somewhere and somebody will ask, or even when you're just getting to try and go somewhere, like you leave the event, you're traveling somewhere else, and you stop at a gas station and you still have your vest on, and somebody's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're just here shooting rally." And they're like, "What's that?" And then you spend 5 extra minutes there and tell people about the rally.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
So tell us about Avro, what Avro is, and how you got involved.
Yes. So American Veteran Racing Organization, which is the long form of Avro, because military, we love acronyms. But it stems from, so I guess really, like you said, how it got started in 2024. I had met Tony Lacey. Oh man, so many names right now flying through my head that I should have wrote down earlier. I met Tony Lacey, I met Mike, and it's going to drive me nuts, and I apologize because I know some of those guys listen to this podcast, but I met these guys through Racing for Heroes, and they were doing a charity laps down at Virginia International. And we went down there. Me and my wife went down there. I drove her car on VIR, and there's a video on that on the channel. And I was like, "That's fun. We're going to take your car." And she's like, "Don't break it." I didn't break it. But yeah, so we met through there. And then a little bit after that, Mike and I had a conversation about some stuff. And he said that he was starting to look into opening something and creating something similar up his way up in New York, because Mike's from Buffalo, which he was actually just on your podcast as well.
Yep.
And me and him kind of started talking. And after, I don't know, a little bit of conversation, us having military background, it kind of clicked that we really had a lot that we were trying to do for not just the veteran community, but also like in racing and in motorsports. And so really, I mean, we just kind of started looking into different ways to helping each other. And I offered up Drop a Gear as a media brand to help promote Avro, which is why, you'll see a lot of Avro promotions from time to time from me. We actually sell some merchandise on the website for them, which any purchase of that stuff goes directly to the Avro mission. And, basically it's kind of been something like that ever since. And I think Mike is doing an amazing job with everything that he's started so far.
Right. Yeah.
His team of people up in his area is growing, and I love it, because the goals that he has, I mean, they're building a schoolhouse and a workshop up there.
Very nice.
It's already started in the works. There's a bunch of things that we're doing, and Mike and I work together on a lot of this stuff. But I love seeing it, and I love seeing where it's going. And yeah, so we're going to keep supporting him as much as we can. And yeah.
Oh, very nice. Recently, you helped send some folks Sue Ann. I should just come out and say Sue
Just
Ann.
come out and say it. It was Sue Ann.
You helped send her to LSPR. Tell us what prompted that and why you wanted to help send, volunteer to LSPR.
So it has a lot to do with what I wanted to do with Drop-A-Gear. When I started Drop-A-Gear Industries, I realized that, okay, fine, I'm another automotive brand that's making car content.
Right.
Cool. How can I stand out? How can I be different? How can I actually do things to gain people's support that is not just words, right? I always wanted people to know that when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a way to do it. Sometimes it's probably not the most smartest thing for me financially, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to get the support and make things better for people. So my goal with Drop-A-Gear was to do just that, right? Get the followers, get the support, more so than chasing sponsors. It was more about trying to grow a following of people who love what I do, support what I do, and then turn around and be able to use any excess that the brand makes to give back, to kind of do things, in the grand scheme of things, it would be amazing to make it to like that.
Sorry about that. I need a studio.
Me too.
And as you know, you travel the road outside my house.
I do.
It's like the Autobahn sometimes. So
yeah,
sorry for that interruption, but
that's okay. But yeah, like sometimes I think about it. I'm like, man, it would be amazing to be a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah.
But then turn around and be able to take everything that we aren't using, instead of just making things bigger and more crazy and whatnot, why not take those profits and give back?
Right.
And that's kind of where I started going with it. And so because of these things that I've seen over the years from the big brands doing things, a lot of them are doing more and more and more, and maybe not as much openly doing other things, that benefit. There is stuff out there that these brands are doing that do benefit stuff. I'm not saying that they don't, but it's just not as openly as I plan to be.
So they tend to focus on maybe one aspect of something.
Correct.
And you kind of want to have that freedom to support whatever you think that somebody needs support for.
That and whatever, honestly, like when it comes down to it, like when I sometimes am trying to come up with ideas for content, I ask Facebook, I ask Instagram, I ask Patreon, guys, what do you want to see? What do you want me to make? Because I want that input. I want my followers to feel that it's not just, hey, I'm going to make videos about my Vivio. I mean, cool, I'm going to anyway, but what do you really want to see me do? And so it kind of spun into that a little bit more. And so in order to start really essentially proving that I'm not just saying these things, I decided, okay, it's time to just hit the do button and start doing the things that I want to do. And so I did a little giveaway, sold some t-shirts, like a standard, giveaway style thing.
Yeah.
Didn't have the entries that I expected. I knew I wasn't going to get the purchases to offset the costs entirely, but I'd already earmarked it and set it aside. So we were, good to go. At least at the time, I was hoping to be 100% ready.
Right.
And so we did a drawing. I did the drawing live. I put everybody's name in a random generator. We did it live on Facebook because, again, I value the transparency.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Sue Ann had bought some stuff, and so she quadrupled her entries. And between her and like 6 other people that had quadrupled their entries, she got picked. And it was awesome. We got her out there to LSPR. She got the volunteers. She got to have a great time.
Yeah.
And we transferred some money around.
Great.
So,
and she brought, it was for 2 people, right? You covered the cost of 2
for
people.
Her. It was for her and a friend. So she actually had her friend, Aaron, come out, and he was not that far from.
That's Aaron Free Beer and Chicken Brown. We
yes.
Mention his name.
There you go. So they got to come out and basically enjoy the weekend and have a blast with everybody like they would at any other rally, but not truly have to worry about a lot of the costs. And that's kind of what started it. And then I really made a really bold decision to go full send into my next move, which was to do something even bolder, which was essentially sponsor an entire rally teams event.
Yep.
And that stemmed that was awarded this round. It was given to OK Rally, Tom Mayer and co-driver Dylan McKenna, because those guys had been a big help for me throughout 25, being able to get to the events, cost sharing and helping me get to, all the different rallies that we've been to.
Okay. Very nice.
Over the year, I wanted to do something to give back to them for their assistance, and also be able to show that in the future, what I plan to do is something like this more often through Drop a Gear.
Yeah.
And that kind of spun off how I created Full Send Foundation.
Very cool. And you're just getting your paperwork and everything together. And I'm doing a nonprofit as well, and I appreciate your help.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
all my stupid questions that I've been asking you for the last couple of
weeks.
weeks.
There's no stupid questions, Tim. I probably have 100 million of them.
So what's next for Full Send?
So Full Send, like I said, came from my ideas with Drop a Gear. Because Drop a Gear needs sales, sponsors, followers in order for me to truly be able to do a lot of this.
Yeah.
Because my paycheck as a federal worker is not always guaranteed or that great sometimes.
Right.
And so unfortunately, hit a little bit of a snafu, but working through it, I created Full Send because I knew that Drop a Gear being, not fully having that crazy support just yet, isn't going to be able to do all this all the time. However, there's a lot of people who support what I'm trying to do. There are businesses that will support what we're trying to do because it's a betterment for everyone involved. Yeah. And so because people who like myself are aspiring to be in motorsports and race, and the costs are getting higher and higher, I wanted to do something to help give back easier. And so the nonprofit made the most sense in order to do that. Yeah. And I will use the nonprofit in the same way that Drop a Gear was planning to do things, which means that basically Drop a Gear's excess profits will probably just get dumped into Full Send Foundation.
Gotcha.
But it's the biggest goals with that are basically to help aspiring drivers offset some of these costs, get into the sport, because the truth of the matter is that unless you came from a large amount of money, sometimes racing is very hard to get into, and I want to be able to help with that.
Right. It can be very expensive. Absolutely. So, cost. Yep. And a lot of, if people don't know, the majority of the teams, I would say, are all privateers. So they're either families getting together, racing, or friends getting together, putting a car together and racing, and
absolutely
taking an absolute enormous amount of their free time to do so. So,
well, that, and I mean, I remember looking at it at one point. I'm trying to think here. Like you said, like a lot of these guys are, they're privateers. Some of these guys are probably spending, if I did quick math, I would say some of these guys are probably spending upwards of $50,000 a year just to race. And that's a big cost. Especially if you're not being paid by any of the big names out there, or you don't have some sort of big sponsorship that's helping you with things. And that's where I wanted to give back and help. And so like, that's why I'm going to do things like cost offsets. Maybe like a team says, hey, we find a team that's been struggling to make it to events because of the costs. Maybe we just give them a little boost in, hey, we'll cover, your transportation to get there. Right. And grow from there, because I'm going to do things like that as well through Drop a Gear. But Full Send will be a more nonprofit way of doing it. So, and there's a lot of other things I want to do with Full Send.
Yeah.
advocate for keeping our tracks open, educate the general public on the benefits of like why these things should exist because they can benefit your community.
Oh yeah, it's very important.
It is. I mean, and we're losing another racetrack right now. Pit race, Pittsburgh International
that's
out
sad
there.
News.
And I've been talking with the organizer of SavePitRace.org. I'm probably actually going to have him on the podcast at some point.
Excellent.
And he's doing a lot in terms of pulling up the education side. And I love that because he's trying everything that he can to make sure that he can help in the future when something comes up where somebody says, hey, this track's getting ready to close. How can he dive in, or how can we dive in with Full Send and be like, hey, here's why you should keep it open, because this is the downfall that you might see. And there's some other things going on. And so I think that's a really good thing. And I hope that their efforts can help sway things, but I feel like the writing's already on the wall, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tough. Although, back to expenses real quick. Geographically, rallying in America is tough because it's so spread out. You know, you'll have races in the East Coast, you have them in the West Coast, Pacific Northwest. Where in Europe, traveling is much easier. You know, the distances that they have to travel is not as
it's not nearly as
costly as it would be here, as it is here in the U.S.
Yeah,
and there's some
for sure.
There are some teams that really make it a point to do the national events, and you know they'll be in Pennsylvania, or Ohio, and they'll do Boone, and then you know they'll be all the way in Oregon or Washington or Colorado.
That's taxing.
That it's taxing. It takes up again a lot of their free time, but those travel expenses can get way up, especially if the price of gas is way up, etc.
Absolutely, and that's where I'm hoping that I can get Full Send to start being able to help, because if you've got a team that's really pushing to make the national circuit, but I mean, let's face it, you know, they're from Ohio, and to get to, you know, Oregon Trail Rally or, you know, any of the rallies out there on the West Coast, you know, I mean, it cost me just driving a Suburban from Pennsylvania to Michigan, you know, $600. Can you imagine what it costs in diesel to drag a car trailer out there?
Oh, yeah. It's
and
massive.
It takes 3 days, and you got hotel costs. So it's like just getting there is probably, you know, $1,000 or more. And then you have all of the, you know, upwards of $5,000 just to do the event. You know, it's taxing very quickly. And I would like to be able to help with that, especially in the privateer class. You know, and some of the guys, especially as well, not just the privateer class as a whole, but I also want to make sure that, you know, I give attention to the novice drivers who are just getting started, as well as some of the teams who they've been on and off for a couple years because of costs.
Right. And then to touch upon real quick about the racetrack closings.
Yeah.
One positive thing that I'm seeing, a trend that I like seeing about the racetracks, is the states and the counties are passing clauses where if a racetrack already exists and somebody wants to like put a development next door, they don't have the right to complain about noise or try to shut that racetrack down.
Good.
So I think they just passed that in, I want to say, North Carolina and one or two other states where they're like grandfathered in. So if somebody builds a huge community next to it, they can't force it to shut down, which I think is, you know, if anyone follows Cletus McFarland.
I was just going to say,
in Florida,
I think next to him?
He would love to be able to have that legislation passed in Florida. So, I mean, he's got a drag strip now and everything. And
oh my gosh, yeah.
So it's a tough thing for racetracks, but I feel like, you know, everyone talks about how, you know, the fans are kind of waning from NASCAR, but seems like rally's growing. Open wheel racing, the Indy and the Formula One is growing, and I think the PRI put out a study, said like last year it was like almost $70 billion spent in motorsports in America. So
yeah,
I think there's still a lot of positives that are happening.
There is, and you're 100% right, and I fully support that kind of legislation, and that's the kind of stuff that, as Full Send, I also want to go after, helping communities realize like these are the things that we need, because, and not only that, but a lot of people have this idea that a racetrack gets used on a weekend and then it just sits there and it does nothing for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time in between events.
Right. Oh yeah. There's
so much potential for these motorsports tracks, and even if you had like autocross tracks or rallycross tracks, there's things that you can do with that during the week. You can have weekend courses. There could be confidence courses, skill building stuff, and even just being able to put other recreation on these spaces, right, because there's room in these places for walking trails and even potentially having small restaurants in there that can help just help further benefit the community as a whole. And ultimate goal for Full Send / Drop a Gear was to eventually have a motorsports complex to do just that: rally, road race, maybe even get in the ATVs and motocross and have a space for them, because all of these places need these places to go. And the more that we close them down, like you said, from developers to people complaining, it hurts the communities, but it also hurts the people that love this as a recreation as well as a sport.
Right.
And I don't want to see that. I want to see more places stay around.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see more people turn their screens off and get out and do some kind of motorsport and actually learn how to drive.
And that's exactly why I talk about confidence courses and skill building courses, because I'm right there with you, man. I mean, well, if the Autobahn wasn't right next to your house, maybe they should go to a racetrack.
Right.
I used to be one of those young, naive kids that did stupid stuff on the road, and I got a taste of track experience. I want to say 2003, 2004. With the one car that I had, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. I don't have to worry about other people other than the car beside me or behind me. Well, and in front of me. But yeah, so that's why, it's so much better that we have these things, because then it gives an outlet for those things.
Yeah. Well, hopefully pretty soon I'll hear a straight inline 4 of a Vivio tearing by the house.
We will see. I have to get the head for it. It just got finished at the machine shop. I have to figure out when I'm going to go pick it up. Yeah. But it's going to Snowdrift. So anybody going to Snowdrift, it'll be there one way or another. Yeah.
All right. Well, how can someone get a hold of you? Either for Drop a Gear or Full Send?
So there's a couple different ways. Drop a Gear pretty much has a full range of social media that is wild for one person to kind of manage, which is just me. And so I have a link tree on our main website. I have a link tree on our Facebook page in the bio, our Instagram, our TikTok, all of those things, which will basically give you that master link to everything. You can visit dropagearindustries.com as well, which will give you just as pretty much all the same access and a little bit more of a website style page. And then for Full Send Foundation, I have a website for that I recently created. It's fullsend-foundation.org. And again, it just has the kind of basic stuff on there. And at the bottom, there's a contact us page. You can hit that as well. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people reach out to me through Instagram and Facebook messaging, which I'm okay with. Yeah. It might take me a day or two to get to it. But I try to be pretty punctual with this stuff. And it's also fun trying to sort through the like 100 some odd friend requests that I get every day, because I'm trying to put names to faces.
Oh,
And
I get it. Yeah.
if I
It,
haven't put a name to a face, I
yeah.
sometimes it takes me a little while.
Well, the rally community is larger than I think most people realize. So,
Yes,
yeah.
100%. And I I'm also really excited because I love being able to meet all the different people that
Yeah.
are in the community. I sometimes I will have conversations longer than I need to, because I just love meeting the different people that are in the sport. I love meeting
Yeah.
the different people that are around. And so, yeah, strike up a conversation with me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's, I'm not that unapproachable.
Real quick, and I forgot to put this down in my questions, but
Yeah.
recently you went out to the Peterson Museum
Oh,
and you got to see the Ken Block exhibit. Can you talk about that a little bit? How that was? You went with your wife, I know that, and
my wife and I took a vacation. It was well needed, and it was probably, I don't want to say that it wasn't. Actually, I don't even know how to really put it into words, to be honest, in
yeah,
some cases, because it was literally getting up close and personal with the vehicles that I have watched all over the internet,
yeah,
all over Hoonigan, and being able to get that close to see them, to take my videos of them, which I did a couple of recap videos on the
hmm,
channel. I need to work on it. I haven't done it. I want to put together a really big video of everything from Peterson, because we went to the whole thing. We didn't just go for the Ken Block thing,
yeah.
but I probably spent a good 6-7 hours there.
Wow.
Uh, but it was amazing because I went there on one day, and there was people there, and it was sometimes hard to get the shots that I wanted. The Peterson Museum I contacted them ahead of time, so I'd actually gotten permission to be in there and film.
Oh, very cool.
Because you're not, like, when you get in there, they're telling you're not allowed to video.
Yeah.
And I got approached probably twice by
Oh, yeah.
various,
It's typical for a
volunteers.
museum, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I had contacted them ahead of time, and one of their PR guys had said, "No, you're good to go." One lady came up to me and asked me some questions, got on her little radio, and I told her who I was. Nope, okay, you're good to go. Have
All right.
fun.
There you go.
But yeah, it was amazing because I got to see some of that stuff. I got to see it up
Yeah.
close. And I actually went back the second day that we were there, because we were there for 2 days. I didn't intend on going back the second day, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back there, and it was towards the end of the night.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, hey, I just want to go see the Ken Block thing. Let me go in there. We talked around for a little bit.
Hmm.
And yeah, I got up there and it was empty. I had the whole exhibit to myself.
Oh, wow. Cool.
It was it was almost to the point where I could almost say that I could say I got a little emotional, maybe.
I can imagine. Yeah. I bet.
Because at that point, not only had I gotten to see all the stuff that had inspired me for so long,
Yeah.
but I felt like I was getting a private tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, granted, there was nobody there with me to tell me stuff or give me little
Right.
tidbits and stuff, but like, I didn't have to worry about anybody being in my shots.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal, and I loved it. I actually, surprisingly enough, I actually had started reaching out to try and get a hold of both 43 Institute as well as Lucy
Hmm.
Block, about maybe how we could get that neat exhibit here on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah. That'd be
Um,
fantastic.
so I actually had a brief conversation with Lucy about a couple things. And I talked to her at Boone beforehand a little bit as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was really cool to know that, and I don't know if I can say it or not, but that maybe there is some potential future for that to show up
Yeah.
in the East Coast here. Obviously, it might not have his one Gymkhana car because it's currently for sale, but
Yeah. Right.
it would be really cool to see the rest of them over here on the East Coast for everybody over here who couldn't make it.
Yeah, a nice manageable traveling exhibition would be really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be fun to be able to see that. Yeah, be very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks, Matt. Appreciate your time. Hope you have a great weekend, relaxing weekend.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad I could get on the podcast, Jim. It's been
Oh, yeah.
it's been a little while and we've been talking about it, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm glad we could get together and do this because yeah, it's a labor of love for everything.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you're definitely passionate about it, and
I try.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's why we do what we do. So.
Absolutely. Well, again, thanks for having me on, Jim. It was awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. If you'd like to be on the podcast, you can email me, jim@jimboothdesigns.com, or message me through Facebook at Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast, or Instagram, rallying_in_America. Special thanks to Brady Instruments, pro-grade, handmade, professional fuel hydrometers. Visit bradyinstruments.com for all of your fuel testing needs. Thanks to Toontank and the artist Nuclear Wave for the podcast theme music.